Coming up on Naperville News 17, DuPage County votes to opt out of recreational pot sales. A Naperville North alumnus works to register young voters. And it's Halloween in downtown Naperville. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. DuPage County is now the first county in Illinois to not allow the sale of recreational marijuana. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena has the details.
In a close 10-8 vote, the DuPage County Board voted to prohibit the establishment of recreational marijuana businesses in unincorporated areas of DuPage. The decision came after many public commenters spoke up against cannabis sales, a stance a number of board members shared.
For us to go ahead and permit this and tax it and to profit from it is in derogation of federal law. We would be profiting and authorizing an enterprise that is illegal federally.
The state of Illinois has made a lot of bad choices over the years, and we here in DuPage County have made better choices. So we can't control the fact that they have chosen to legalize this drug everywhere in the state of Illinois. But we can send a message to our constituents saying we don't want more sales of this in our county.
Last month, the board learned there were only 3 sites where recreational dispensaries could be placed in unincorporated DuPage, once the sale of it becomes legal statewide on January 1st. Safer access to the drug was just one of the reasons others on the board supported opting in.
Allowing this in our county and making that available to those who choose, we are offering them a safe product that they know that they're not going to get some foreign substance that's been added.
As for all the concerns about children and those sorts of issues, it's the same as alcohol and tobacco now in our country, both of which in my family have killed people. Marijuana never has.
While the board ultimately voted to ban the sale of recreational pot, some noted the issue could return in the future.
Maybe in a year or two, I think we're there. I think this is going to be the law of the land. The train has left the station, but I think we need better steps in regulation, how we're going to handle this.
The board also voted 12-6 to approve a 3% county sales tax on the sale of marijuana in DuPage County municipalities. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
At the latest Historic Preservation Committee meeting, a decision on whether to demolish the historic Kramer Mansion was made. Naperville News 17's Christian Kenazal tells us its fate.
As the hour hand neared midnight, commissioners from the Historic Preservation Commission voted to allow demolition on several buildings on Little Friends campus. The gym, administration, and the Kresge Academy buildings can now be knocked down if the nonprofit chooses to do so. But the one building that can't be flattened is the Kramer Mansion. Commissioners agreed that its architectural and historical significance outweigh the cost of its occupancy.
Although subjective from an architectural standpoint, historic preservation and the history of it, my opinion is that the significance does outweigh the cost.
The mansion was built in the early 1900s by Peter Kramer, a former Naperville mayor and founder of Kramer Manufacturing Company. Some in attendance who were in support of not demolishing Kramer Mansion were happy with the commission's decision, but see this as just the first step in what could be a long process, as they suspected Little Friends would appeal.
As an advocate for historic preservation, I am pleased with the outcome tonight, but this is not the end. This is merely the beginning.
Little Friends, who was seeking approval to demolish its entire campus in order to fund its move to a new location, was disappointed but not shocked with the commission's decision.
We somewhat anticipated this in terms of what was presented. I think the city probably somewhat anticipated as well, given the fact that they had the PowerPoints ready in terms of what went on. So it was kind of clear as to how this was going to play out.
The nonprofit's presentation broke down costs of staying at their current location, but lacked historical information on the mansion, according to Commissioner Mark Erda. Little Friends will now make a formal appeal to City Council to demolish its entire campus. They're hoping for the best, but are fearful City Council might stick with the HPC's decision.
It's frightening in terms of how I look at it, because the reality is this, is that with the way that the current offers are that we have right now, we're not in a position where we could accept any of them and be in a position to move to a new facility.
Little Friends did receive an offer around $4 million for their property, but said that was 30% less than the fair market value. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
Improving the East Ogden Avenue corridor has been one of Naperville City Council's goals for several years. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski has more on what could be coming to the corridor.
Councilman Kevin Coyne recently hosted an informal public discussion to gauge public opinion on what needs to be done to improve the East Ogden Avenue corridor.
Ogden's the gateway to our community, a great gateway to Naperville, and it's always underperformed a little bit relative to other parts of the community. So I've kind of taken it on as a challenge to work with our staff and our local business owners to see how we can beef it up and make it a more vibrant part of our community.
Residents and business owners were able to voice concerns about the aesthetic appeal of the street, as well as suggest other improvements that could be made. Several residents mentioned the 2 motels on Ogden, saying they were unattractive buildings. Though Coyne didn't have a solution concerning the Stardust Motel, the Regency Inn will appear before the Planning and Zoning Commission, with hopes to turn the site into a 112-unit apartment complex. Vacancies on East Ogden, however, are another issue.
For whatever reason, other parts of the community, certainly in the south, Naperville, in the Naperville's north part of the community and downtown, has never had any problem attracting development. Ogden's, it's been a little bit more of a challenge, although there's still some great things happening. We'd like to see it improve at a faster clip.
The former Kmart location in the Ogden Mall has sat vacant since the store left in 2013. The city is still trying to fill that and other vacancies along Ogden. One plan that is starting to move forward is the pole sign removal incentive. Midas will be the first company to take advantage of the program to convert its pole sign into more attractive signage. Residents also suggested other improvements, like a community gathering space, to make the area more amenable to shoppers. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Retail trends along East Ogden Avenue will be addressed in the city's comprehensive master plan, which is expected to be complete by the end of the year. After the break, a push to get a historic barn on the Forest Preserve's master plan.
Naperville Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report some suspicious activity in my neighborhood. How does this work?
Yes, thanks for calling. Your call is anonymous, and I'll not ask for your name. Instead, you'll be identified by a tip number. In a few weeks, call back with the tip number you received, and I will let you know the status of your tip. If an arrest is made, you could receive a reward up to $1,000.
How do I get the reward money if you don't know who I am?
Well, when you call back, we set up a time and a place to drop the money. You will be safe, and nobody will know you gave Crime Stoppers a tip.
Okay, well, here's what's going on.
Forest Preserve District of DuPage County Commissioners recently decided if the Green Farm Barn would be included in its master plan. Naperville News 17's Christian Canizal tells us their decision.
A packed room sat in silence at the latest Forest Preserve District of DuPage County meeting as community members learned what was in store for the Green Farm Barn. The commissioners' vote on whether the historic barn should be added to the preserve's master plan certified project list was a tie, 3-3. Not the outcome longtime advocate for the barn, Mary Lou Worley, was hoping for.
Hugely disappointed. There have been so many people working so hard over so many years, and particularly the last 10 months. It's a shame the district doesn't have the vision to include something as part of a process that is in itself a process. So we have to look for the other doors and windows that are open and pursue them.
The commissioners did vote to add over 30 other items to the master plan, citing projects that were approved were based on community's feedback and the district's mission to preserve nature. The 19th century barn located near Hobson and Green Roads has sat vacant since 1971 and will now be considered an initiative. That means the Green Farm Barn could be included in a future master plan.
We won't stop working. In the background, we'll be taking on initiatives which help us bring ideas to the top of the list for future projects in following 5-year segments.
Since acquiring it in the 70s, the district has spent over $1 million in renovation projects. But the barn is still not open to the public. Members from the ad hoc committee, a 5-member advocate group for the barn, were disappointed in the commission's verdict, but will continue their goal of making the barn into a community gathering center.
I think we'll probably hold some events that may have to do with the arts and entertainment. But you've got to stay tuned.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
One Naperville project that is included on the Forest Preserves Master Plan is adding a trail link at Springbrook Prairie that will connect to the Southern DuPage Regional Trail. Last year, a proposal of arming school staff was discussed at District 204, and it came up once again at the latest board meeting. It was a majority no from District 204 board members as they agreed to oppose arming teachers. Members discussed several proposals from the Illinois Association of School Boards, which included allowing school employees the option of carrying a legal concealed firearm.
Schools should provide a safe and secure environment for all students, and I don't think bringing guns in will give a safe and secure environment for all students.
Community members, like those from the Moms Demand Action Group, also opposed the proposal, and one member voiced her concerns.
Although I understand the frustration and emotions that would lead someone to think arming teachers would be a good idea, it is critical that we let data drive this decision. There is no evidence that arming teachers will make schools safer.
The school board agreed with Duffing's sentiments and plan on having a formal vote on the proposal at their next board meeting. District 203 could start taking election days off. At the school board's latest meeting, the group considered the option for the 2020-2021 calendar and the 2021-2022 calendar. With the policy in place, that would mean 3 days off for next school year due to elections, with 1 for the following year. Many were in support of taking classes off for election days, but had some concerns with their effect on the first day of school. The board is expected to vote on the calendars at its next meeting on November 18th. A Naperville North alumnus is encouraging the current senior class to register to vote. Our own Christine Lena tells us more about his program.
Roughly 646 students make up Naperville North's senior class, and soon they could all be registered to vote.
I've heard the operatives within campaigns say students don't vote, and they're not wrong. And as such, we're not going to gear our platform towards them, nor are we going to take great efforts to actually get them out to vote. In researching that issue a little bit further, I think I started to find that registration was a big barrier to a lot of students.
That led Van Drill to found the nonprofit Registart, which uses a computer program to train 18-year-olds in how to register to vote, talk to their peers about registration, and manage those conversations.
So there's a portion of it that determines which students have the best relationships with which members of the senior class and pairs them together. This is what we think is really the first time where we're utilizing Snapchat and we're utilizing Instagram and of course phone calls and text messages and in-person contact, but really whatever works.
Van Drill sought out his alma mater, Naperville North, for a pilot of the program, collaborating with 2 of Tim Johnson's senior urban history classes.
It's just so important to give yourself the option, especially because, as we talked about in class today, our demographic, our age group really doesn't vote a lot, so it kind of makes it harder to get involved in politics to start off with.
Students in both classes are contacting every senior about voter registration, with the aim to get 100% of them registered for next year's general election.
We can change the political outcome of some of these candidates, and I think that's really powerful to be an 18-year-old and be able to do it. I think that gives us motivation to go out to the polls and vote.
Van Drill hopes after Naperville North that Registart will be deployed nationwide. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
There's also development to get Registart's computer program turned into an app. While some people may have had 1 or 2 dirty jobs in their lifetime, this author has had nothing but.
You, throughout the book, Mike, a number of times you call yourself a B-list celebrity. I don't think that's just you being self-effacing. What do you mean by that?
I mean, I'm no longer a C-list celebrity.
Host of Dirty Jobs and The Way I Heard It podcast, Mike Rowe, stopped by Wentz Hall for a sold-out Anderson's Bookshop event. Rowe came to town to promote his new book, The Way I Heard It. The book appropriately shares the same name as his popular short-form podcast, as it's a written collection of his favorite episodes, stories, and insights from the show.
The idea of taking 50 stories that I already wrote and slapping them between 2 tasteful covers and putting them in front of every Barnes & Noble in the world, that seemed like a fairly smart way to approach what you call transactional satisfaction.
Those at the event were treated to not just jokes, but also an in-depth discussion of Roe's career in television, photographs, and even a Q&A session. Though Roe was not afraid to ask the audience some questions of his own.
Hi, Mike.
What's your shirt say?
I love Mike Roe.
That is awesome.
And you can check out Anderson's website to see which other authors will be coming to town. Coming up, a mall makeover gets underway at Fox Valley.
NCTV 17's game show, Game On Sitcom Showdown, is going to be legendary. With tickets selling fast, we're expecting a full house for our live studio audience on November 7th. So grab your Modern Family, friends, or Brady Bunch,
Marsha.
and join us for a night of fun, laughs, drinks, and
yada yada yada.
Hurry though, or you'll be the last man standing without a ticket. Visit nctv17.com for more information.
You got it, dude.
If you're a frequent shopper at the Fox Valley Mall, you may have noticed some construction happening inside. It's all for the Center Court transformation into Center Park, bringing a whole new look and experience to the mall.
I think this is the biggest thing that this mall has done in terms of interior remodeling or redevelopment since 1998. It's intentionally designed to give people another reason to come, to shop, to play, to engage in a lot of different activities that we'll have programmed, or just to come out when the weather's crummy outside and let your kids run in the grass.
The 13,000 square foot park will be an open grassy area to include a fountain, sculptures, a small stage, and most notably, an 800 square foot treehouse platform on the second level.
And the way to get up there, we call it the treehouse because there'll be a spiral staircase going inside the column in the base of the tree up to this platform overlooking the park as a place to hang out, to be with friends, to meet others. And that will be, I think, pretty iconic and will really anchor this.
While the treehouse won't be complete until the spring, the rest of Center Park on the lower level will be finished by Thanksgiving. The Fox Valley Mall will host a holiday kickoff celebration on Thanksgiving evening to unveil the park and welcome the start of the shopping season. A Naperville mom helped shine a light on her son's condition with some help from the Naperville Park District. Naperville News 17's Christian Canizal tells us their story.
As the night sky fell over on Moser Tower on October 22nd, rays of green light shone throughout the Naperville sky. They were in support of those who have Phelan-McDermid syndrome, a rare genetic condition caused by the deletion or structural change to the 22nd chromosome. The tribute was thanks to Joanna Kent. Wanting to raise awareness for her son's syndrome, she spoke with the Naperville Park District about lighting up Moser Tower, and they literally gave her the green light.
I wanted people in my community to know more about special needs because it's really easy to not see it. It's easy to blend in. I'm not shy about if somebody asks me or someone says, when's he going to speak? And I say, I don't know that he'll ever speak.
Sally was diagnosed with Phelan-McDermid syndrome just 2 weeks before his second birthday. Typical symptoms of the syndrome include developmental and intellectual impairment. In Sally's case, he's lost some ability to communicate, but it hasn't held him back from being himself.
He's a really happy guy. He loves everybody. He'll walk up to anybody and give them a hug. He loves people, and I think he takes after his mom a little.
Chicagoland residents showed up to show their support for Sally, and he was thankful for their delicious snacks. Tributes and light took place at locations worldwide. A particular proud moment for Joy McDonald, whose aunt by marriage started the Phelan-McDermid Syndrome Foundation.
It is full circle. When I was driving here today to come meet a complete stranger, and we're all connected through this syndrome, I said to my aunt, can you believe that you created this foundation, that you started connecting people 25 years ago? You had this dream, and now it's a reality.
Before heading out, it was time for a group photo, but Sally wasn't feeling it.
He's like, I'm ready for this party to be over.
But the night did end on a highlight.
Yay, Sally!
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
For the rest of October, Moser Tower will light up orange until Halloween, and after that, red, white, and blue for Veterans Day. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Our own Casey Krajewski caught up with one family who's giving back to others while fighting the disease.
Don Suttonbach's face might be the first thing you see when you walk into the Edward Cancer Center. He's logged more than 2,000 volunteer hours at Edward with his group, Faces of Hope.
We will do the non-medical things to support the patients and help out the nurses, the doctors.
Suttonbach is himself a 17-year prostate cancer survivor. His daughter Jody just finished breast cancer treatment for the second time, but the family's journey with breast cancer started with Don's wife Margaret, who fought the disease for 30 years before dying this summer. She was a source of strength for Jody when she was first diagnosed in 2017.
The first thing I thought about is, wait a minute, Mom's already been doing this for, at that point, 28 years? Hold on, there's a way to get through this.
Dr. Joseph Cash was the oncologist that treated Margaret, and Jody and Don knew they wanted the same doctors for Jody's treatment. But with cancer, Dr. Cash stressed that every case is different.
Each individual, you're making that decision, that judgment of how is the treatment working, what are the side effects, is the benefit better than the downside.
Jody beat the disease. But at a checkup just 2 years later, doctors found a tumor in the same place. She's now regaining her strength after her latest treatment. As for Don, he continues to make an impact.
Don't want to ever say somebody, compare one person to person, but he was equal to the best of the volunteers there. I mean, really, both from patient and staff standpoint, that Don was or is and was somebody that went above and beyond in helping people.
And soon, volunteering at the Cancer Center could be a family affair.
Everyone did so much for me during this process and for my mom that I want to give back too. So as soon as I'm in a position to be able to do so, I want to be able to do it too.
Two faces of hope in the fight against cancer. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Now Jody is happy to say her biggest challenge is having to wear a winter hat this early in the fall while her hair grows back. Up next, a workout fit for silver sneakers.
Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer.
Business Connection is really good PR for us to get our names out there because we're new.
1 year later, my business has increased tremendously this year, so I really appreciate that I had the opportunity to interview on Business Connection.
So tell me a little bit about your law firm.
I talked to some friends. They said it was great for their business, and so I did it, and it was great. I've seen a lot of calls and emails, gotten a lot of traction on Facebook.
I actually have one client. The reason he agreed to meet with me was because he watched the video on the website. That right there made it worth doing, and so I recommend it to people all the time that if they don't have a video, they need to do a video, and they need to do it with the NCTV 17.
Bring it across.
Dancing, stretching, weightlifting. This fitness class brings together all types of movement.
You know what the best part is? I enjoy the class, but when I walk out of this class, I feel so good about myself.
You can find Jeannie Priblo taking part in this 1-hour class every Wednesday at the Fort Hill Activity Center. It's called Strength and Motion Gold and is geared towards men and women 55 years of age and older.
Obviously we're working on strength. That's where the weights, the bands, and everything else comes in. But the motion is the range of motion and the constant movement.
Bicep curl up, bring it down.
A lot of times as you age, you will get tighter in your shoulders and your hips. You don't open up as much.
It's a nice blend of doing some cardiovascular, some strength and toning. We do the weights, we do the band, almost like a total workout. It's fulfilling.
Lift and down.
With what's called functional training, this workout reflects movement that is done in everyday life that may become more difficult with age.
It's really important to keep, as we age, all of us, at any point, to keep moving, to keep lifting, to have stronger muscle, stronger bones.
Bring it back.
A lot of people still, they babysit their grandchildren, so this helps keep them moving and active. They've often said to me, it's easier to chase them.
Walk it up 4.
The teacher, Kim, who teaches this strength and motion, is amazing. First of all, she knows the body's physiology and what stretches and moves are really important for us. She connects it to different events in our lives where we might need to do different motions and so forth. And she's just fun.
While the participants certainly have a ball, what's more is that this class and yoga are both part of the National Silver Sneakers program, which is included in many Medicare and supplemental insurance plans. The program covers the cost of thousands of fitness classes and gym memberships around the country for those 65 years and older as a way to encourage a more active lifestyle.
If they had diabetes or if they have hypertension or high blood pressure, that they keep coming back to exercise in order to lessen the levels when they go to the doctor. They feel healthier, they feel stronger.
This group encourages more local senior citizens to join them, especially if they are a Silver Sneakers member.
As we get older, you tend to be more sedentary, so it's kind of great to have all these people that are taking these classes.
After being here one time, one of the ladies mentioned, "Oh, are you in Silver Sneakers?" I'm like, "What is Silver Sneakers?" I find out more about it. I go to the front desk. Turns out I already had paid for a full year, but Silver Sneakers was in my insurance, so it worked out perfect. They refunded my money. I am now a Silver Sneakers member.
A Silver Sneakers member and a Strength in Motion Gold member, who because of this class has lost almost 50 pounds and no longer needs to take her diabetes medication. Proof that she certainly is making it count.
Life is too short, and if you're gonna sit around and grow old, you're cheating yourself. You really need to get motivated and moving.
For more information on the Silver Sneakers program, visit their website. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Kevin Maychek.
And if you have an idea for a sports story feature, you can let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. There's no bones about this howling good time in downtown Naperville. A bumblebee, corn on the cob, and Wonder Woman were just some of the unique costumes furry friends wore as they wagged their tails into Boston's annual Halloween pet parade. The pups and their owners went trick-or-treating through town while showing off their Halloween best. And new this year were 3 spooky selfie stations for posing and paparazzi. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 news update delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.